let me introduce you and throw some words out that I associate with you,
Ooh.
and tell me if I'm on the money. Just from our interactions over the years now, right?
Yeah, years, like years, for sure.
And for people who may listen, who knows? Um, Amanda and I are friends from afar via the group. Oh, look, you see
Yeah,
this?
yeah. I was gonna say, just point to your shirt. Yeah.
Mastodon Mayhem, and I'm a
Mhm.
fan of the group itself. If I'm wearing a shirt with the Facebook group
Yeah.
on it, which is turned into I don't even know if you call it de facto fan page. It almost feels like the main fan page.
Kind of feels like it. Yeah, it does.
No, I mean, I think I joined, and I think there was around I don't remember what year it was now, but it was only 2,000 people, I think. And then
Mhm.
now is it gotten over 12 yet? 12,000?
No, we are so close. We've gotten very strict about like who we let in, meaning like you have to answer questions and agree to rules. So it keeps like a lot of the spam bots out. So we've been pushing that number for a while, but hopefully like within the next couple of months, like maybe when the band tours again, people tend to get really excited and join. So yeah, almost 12,000, which is insane. Yeah.
That's amazing. And we got a shout out to Johnny Fishborn. Fishborn, right? Did I say it right?
It's Johnny. Well, it's Johnny Fishes on Facebook. That's
Johnny
yeah. But
Fishes.
you were close. You were close.
Oh, that's right. I made a joke with him once. I said you should change your Facebook name to Sid Fishes.
That would be good.
Well, we met on there just as I think fans in general, and I think at one point someone asked you to be an admin as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, yes,
Yeah.
probably pretty quickly, but we can go into that if you want.
Yeah.
And then since then, I look at you, and this is where I'm going to throw out some words
All right.
as kind of maybe a master curator and mayhem mom.
Yes. Yeah.
Just because you really there's a spirit from you in this group where you really take care of people, and you take care of the band, and you walk quite impressively the fine line with helping people out with like whether it's VIP ticket information, um, um, but also in your communications with the band when you're facilitating contests and prizes and judges. And I'm quite impressed by that.
Thank you.
And just think you've done such a great job at it, and also impressed and grateful because it takes time, right?
It does. Yeah. If people don't realize it, it does take a lot of time. Like it's not my day job, unfortunately. Maybe one day, but not right now.
So your day job, that was going to be I don't know about my next word, but one of my words, HR.
Yeah. Yep. I'm in
Lots
HR.
of there, HR.
But the thing is it's funny because, yeah, I'm in HR, I'm in talent management. So all the work that I do is around specifically making development easier for people. So I feel like being with people and dealing with people is kind of like I don't want to say the crux of what I do, subtle Mastodon reference, but like it's always like around like relationship building and things like that. So it's I guess it kind of makes sense that I'm in HR and dealing with like the people side of things since I do that in the Facebook group. So
Yeah, well, and you talked about that with our buddy Tom.
I did. That's right. Oh my gosh. Yes. Tom, shout out to
I
Tom.
watched that pretty recent. Oh, it was pretty recent.
Yeah. Yeah. A few weeks ago. Yep.
Yeah. And who did you meet for the first time recently in person?
Yeah. Yeah. We met. Gosh. Well, so first of all, like, I do want to respond to those kind words that you said about me. Thank you. Like, the fact, what's that?
I have more.
You have more. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll thank you for that part and I'll let you continue on about that. But yes, that's so nice. I take things relatively seriously, but you know, I know it's a Facebook group, but the band does look and see what we do, so there's a reason for that. But to your question about Tom, yeah, that was the first time that we had met in person, and it was kind of random. Like I had no idea he was going to be in Asheville, and I like now I'm in this habit where if the band is not coming near me, I try to pick like a place to go. And Asheville, I realized was like a 5.5 hour drive, which isn't terrible. I'm in Cincinnati. And I've never been to Asheville and I've always wanted to go. And it was a Sunday, corporate job problems. So I could just take a long weekend. And then Kelly Hester, who I'm sure we'll talk about again later, actually was like, hey, Tom's going to Asheville. And I had made a comment. So we were able to connect, link up. He's just as cool as you'd imagine. We jived and we had a really cool experience, like getting to, you know, hang backstage and everything. So gosh, so much to talk about. But yes, that was the first time we met in person. And hopefully one day we'll get to a chance to do that as well. I need to
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I was really jealous of, was it Rick Ackerman? Is that his name?
Yeah, Rick, my friend Rick.
Yeah. Become, you know, a kind of friend just because of the group. Just like each other's post.
Yeah.
I was jealous of him because you and Tom were there. He was hanging out with both of you.
I know. And that was so like, he made like a last minute decision to come. Like he messaged me the day, well, maybe it was the day before or like when I was traveling down. It was like a day or two ahead and was like, I'm coming. And I was like, well, you can be my +1. And at that time, I'm like, I can't guarantee like where, because it had seats in a pit. I'm like, I can ask if we'll get in the pit. But yeah, I was like, okay, I've never had this experience before. So lucky you are getting to experience this with me. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah. What a thrill for him. Especially even better because it was unexpected.
Yeah, totally.
So just real quick, I was talking to my wife yesterday. My wife goes on all these like girl trips and stuff, and I don't do it. And I'm like, you know, it's time for me to do something. And I was like, you know what I'd like to do is go to Atlanta and hang out with Tom, and just see the Mastodon monuments, like the Star Bar and whatever other places, but just to hang out with him, you know, that we haven't hung out before. And yes, it sounds like he is as nice as he comes across, and a legend, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Troubadour, right?
Yeah. That's an accurate description for sure. But yeah, highly recommend hanging. It's so much fun. And visiting Atlanta, that was also really fun. And getting to see him was a nice bonus.
Yeah, that's really cool. I bought his poetry book. And
nice.
Signed. It was nice.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. Doesn't surprise me. He's a great dude.
Yeah. And also just, I don't know, just kind of a similar spirit and kindness about him. That's just very refreshing, which is what you also bring to the group, which also, you know, everybody says a million times, the comments are always, love this group. This is unlike any other group. You know, all these other band groups, there's so many jerks saying jerky stuff. And it really is challenging, I'm sure. Hopefully less challenging now, because I have noticed in the past, you know, people come on and, well, either one, they're just off the deep end, or they, you know, it's like being critical of the band. I think there's a place for that, Mastodon Mayhem, with taste. Taste.
Yeah.
But I also see it more as, hey, this is where we celebrate. Let's celebrate and praise the ones that, you know, give us all this joy.
Yeah, exactly. And like there is a place for, you know, constructive criticism, but like we don't come here to like hate on stuff, you know. And I would always joke, like, I'm like, I think someone actually made this comment once, because whenever they announce a new tour, like there's someone's not going to be happy, right? Like, you know, no one likes Ghosts. Now it's Lorna Shore. And it's like, I think someone was like, I don't think that people here will be happy unless Mastodon tours with a Mastodon tribute band. And it just that made me laugh, because I'm like, yeah, like they can't, like, no matter what, you know, someone doesn't like Ghost, someone doesn't like Gojira. Like, I don't know. It seemed like Lorna Shore and Ghost got the most hate recently. I'm just like, it's fun. You don't have to like enjoy it. Like, I mean, it's cool for them. Like, how rad to open for Mastodon. Like, that's fucking cool.
maybe go in with some curiosity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a guy at work today who was initially mad because his mom made him go to Cher when he was a little kid, and it wasn't his type of music, and then he went and loved it.
Yeah, see, you just never know. Keep an open mind.
Yes. Okay. Well, let me continue with some words, and we can go into these or not, whatever you want to
Okay.
think. But when I think of Amanda Blachman, I think of an avid reader as well.
Accurate. I even have the tattoo of books on my arm because I like.
Oh, whoa!
I don't know if you can see that so much, but yeah, they're like classic books with flowers over it. So yes, avid reader, accurate.
Yeah, that's cool. That is part of your identity.
It is.
A Pride event go tour. What's the word?
A Pride event go tour attendee, celebratory person. I don't know, all of the above.
Well, some may have Pride, but maybe not everybody goes to the event. So
Yeah,
that's worth mentioning.
yes.
And a drag aficionado, or is that the right word?
I think so. Just a super fan. I love the arts. I love the art of drag, and it's something me and my best friend of over 25 years. Like, she's not into metal. I'm not into whatever she listens to, but we love drag, so it's like a bonding thing for us. She wouldn't come with me to Asheville or Atlanta to visit all the Mastodon monuments, but we'll go watch some drag.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And so I connect with you on that. Just a lot of different tastes that or things you're into that don't all necessarily connect, but may in some ways. But make you pretty unique. And then the last one I at least have on my mind right now, REM.
My band, yes, REM, my all-time favorite. I love Mastodon, but REM will always be the best.
I love that. I associate your love for REM with my love of U2, and I think you're a fan of U2 as well. But
I do, yeah.
And I just how much hate that gets, even in our group. Not hate, but
yeah.
If you like Mastodon, I would say that it's somewhat rare to also love a U2 or an REM.
Yeah, I think so, which is just crazy because, like, I think of REM and U2, like, I've always felt that they went hand in hand because they were kind of pioneers of that early mainstream alternative rock. Like, they're very different, but they're cut from a very similar cloth. And I feel like now I don't know if there's even such a thing as mainstream metal anymore, but, like, I like music because it moves me in a certain way, and like regardless of genre, it just so happens that they happen to be like rock or alternative or metal or something like that. And yeah, so like REM for me is probably like what U2 is for you. Like I love U2 as well, but yeah, there's a lot of overlap in all of it. I guess not many people can see that, but we can.
Yeah. Well, and I love it. It warms my heart that Billy Kay loves U2. And I know that one of our mutual favorite songs, Sleeping Giant, right?
My favorite Mastodon song, yes.
Maybe mine too, and I'm not just saying that. But I don't know if you've read this or heard this, probably. But that riff, the do do do, he said he was listening to New Year's Day, and the Edge's solo, and you're like, oh, totally.
Yeah, I think I knew that because I'm pretty sure you told me that, and then I like listened and I was like, oh my god, yes! Like that, I see, that's so cool. Like, Sleeping Giant does not sound like New Year's Day, but like to borrow that influence, like that's really rad.
Yeah, I think so. Just being a YouTube fan and hearing that, especially when you don't see it very often with the fan base, and then you see it with other guys in the band, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I think what makes Mastodon so special too is they all are influenced by very different things. Like Troy liking Men at Work is probably the one that's like the most, like, I don't want to say jarring, but like when you think of Men at Work, I think of that like Land Down Under song. They have many more than that, but like it's so interesting. Like that, you borrow and enjoy everything.
May I just say, since you mentioned it, that I was asked by, I'm friends with this cover band.
Mm-hmm.
And they were covering Overkill by Men at Work.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
I sang it.
Did you? Ah.
And I love it. I love that song.
And you know what? To bring it back to Mastodon, I'm pretty sure, and if Tom listens to this, he can correct me, but I think that's Troy's favorite song. I think it's that one, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but we'll just, yeah.
That actually, Men at Work was the first band that I got into.
Yeah.
Back in like '84 when I was just a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that stuff really stuck in my head. So I think I'm right there with Troy with the, not comparing myself to Troy, but right there with the fandom for Men at Work. But that would probably be, that's maybe their best crafted song, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not as familiar, but I enjoy it. And it's like, I've listened before just to like try to understand. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like it's like REM is more than Losing My Religion or Everybody Hurts. Like U2 is more than, I can't even think, like Beautiful Day, you know, like that song was so huge. It's like, no, like they're all great songs, but like there's so much more.
I know. Yeah, the songs people know tend to have happened after I may have stopped listening to them. Like Beautiful Day, I kind of stopped buying the albums after that. I'm a boy to the Boy album or their first album to like Unforgettable Fire, Joshua Tree, maybe.
Yeah, they had, that was when, what was it, Ak Chung Baby, like I really liked that. And then I think that was when after that they had that album, oh my gosh, it was the one where like Bono had like a persona. Do you know? Oh my God, I hope I'm not making Zooropa. That's what it was like in Zooropa.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, like I don't
horns or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, but I've listened to some like later U2, like, but it's more just like random songs have stuck out. Like, I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, speaking of, well, when I was going to mention Green, I mean, for a lot of people, probably, this is not unique, but for REM, Green, for me, it was Green. That was the Green album. And so, but it was very impactful, that album. And most of the songs you don't hear on the radio.
Nope.
And now I can't remember the name of the song, but I remember being very emotionally charged or emotionally feeling the feels with that album.
Yeah, you're right, because that has Stand and I think, Pop Song 89, which are both like, well, Stand is the one that was really popular. Stand in the place. But I wonder, I'm curious, I bet you're either thinking of The Wrong Child or World Leader Pretend. Those are both like very emotive songs that are on Green.
The one where he's like in his car. Time stand still.
Yeah, you are the everything. You are the everything. That's it. I know. I'm like, wait, there's one more. That's it. Because see, that has mandolin in it. So it's like, yeah, they were doing the mandolin thing before Losing My Religion.
Oh, it has mandolin in it? Now I hate it. Just kidding.
No, I'm like, oh no. Yeah, it does.
That's sort of a strange thing to say. It's an inside joke with my friends. I always make fun of the mandolin and capos. Oh. But no, yeah, that song really did it for me back. I think I was in 6th grade. Listening to that, and recently I've gotten back into The Cure.
Okay.
I was like, whoa, this is still doing the same thing it did to me back then. For their older stuff. I don't know if you ever got into The Cure.
Like, I not as much as I feel like I should. Like, I think I when I was younger, I had a greatest hits CD, but you know, there's more than just like Friday I'm in Love and Love Song and stuff. Like, they're all good, but yeah, I think I need to dig deeper. But never, especially they're like touring now, I think, right? Like, I
was watching some video of that. Yeah, he hasn't lost a beat with his voice. Still very strong voice. He looks kind of weird older and with that makeup and hair.
Yeah, I know, it's a little jarring. Like, oh, you do you know. If you're rocking it, you go for it.
Oh yeah, and if he's not thinking about that, he doesn't.
No.
But it was kind of nice. Actually, you know what? I texted Tom the link I was watching because I think he's a Cure fan.
I think so.
Like, hey, I'm just thinking of you. Watching this concert. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've missed a beat. But then they started playing some newer stuff, and they lost me.
Yeah. They have some really good, like that whole like 80s like alternative, like that sound that like REM had in the early years. I really like that. So I'm surprised that I didn't like start when I got into REM. Like I didn't dive too far into like the bands that were popular around that time. I sort of like jumped ahead and got into like Radiohead because like they were influenced by REM and they were really heavy on the radio at that time because this was like mid 90s. So, it's just different to think about how like why you consumed what you consumed, and a lot of it then was like what was accessible to you and where. And now it's like, oh yeah, we have everything at our fingertips if you like subscribe to Spotify. It's so different.
Yeah. What other metal bands are you into? I'm not sure I know that. If you have some other favorites.
Yeah, gosh. Well, the first one that comes to mind, I love Between the Buried and Me. I'm normally not like too far into the proggy side of things, but I love them because they cross genres. They come to mind because I'm seeing them next week. I'm so excited. I got a VIP ticket. They do their meet and greets a little bit. It's not a meet and greet. It's more of like a question and answer, and then you get a group photo. I digress. But Between the Buried and Me, so again, they're more prog, but they also pull from like metalcore, even like a little bit of jazz and swing. It's just very enjoyable listening. I love Baroness. I guess they're kind of like metal adjacent. I know a lot of Mastodon fans love Baroness, and of course they released their new song, so that's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
I do love Gojira, and I've been listening to a lot of I'll shout them out here, Conjurer lately. They are a metal band out of the UK, and they were recently touring as support with Chemists in the US, and they are just really good. They're like a good combination of like I would like almost like black metal metalcore. Like it's different. I recommended them to Bill in Asheville, so I'm wondering if he listened to them and was like, cool. But they're comparable to kind of Gojira, I think. So, but those are like the things that come to mind.
I'll definitely check them out too. It's very rare that I branch out now with my fixed brain into what I like. I think it was more malleable when I was younger, and then all that stuff anchored in.
Yeah. I totally get that. Like it's like not you don't so much like Conjurer is like a more recent discovery for me, but I'm always like going back to like I guess Alice in Chains is metal adjacent because Jerry's kind of like a metal player and like Soundgarden and stuff. So that's like really like, my core of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, well, it's still, that's why I like being, kind of limiting myself to what's anchored in my brain. Every once in a while, a band will come by. I'm like, whoa, what was that? And then get into them. And it's refreshing when it happens because it's rare.
Yeah.
And then I go full in, and then we'll see what's going on with them. I even heard some rap. I never thought I'd say this. I heard some rap the other day. I forget the name. It's a weird name. And I was like, oh, what is that? You just had something about it that was just ripped me. And now I'm probably gonna, obsess about it a little bit.
Yeah, I do that too. It's like I said that to someone. I was like, I wonder what it's like to be like a passive music fan, because like when I like get into an artist, it's like I like to consume everything and I like to understand, like, and I think to go back to REM, it's like I got into them when I was like around 12 years old, and I like learned so much about the world because they sang about things like other than love. Like, they were singing about politics and acid rain. And I remember at that time, like I would look up things in the dictionary and encyclopedias, and that was like the dawn of like dial-up internet and stuff. So just kind of like consuming things like that, or just even like with Mastodon, like really like listening to the lyrics and digesting like what they're saying on these songs and like listening with headphones and, you know, listening to like which guitar is coming in which ear. And so I don't know if you can relate to that. Like, it's like people are like, oh yeah, it has a good beat. And I'm like, well, I like Mastodon because A, B, C, and D. Like, it's not like, it's more intense than that for me when it comes to artists and music. It's like, I have to explain why.
oh yeah. And I think, I mean, I label, at least musically, I label some of that, like progressive stuff, which I love. I love the progressive type stuff. But definitely relate to the uniqueness of the lyrics. I mean, Crack the Sky, I say, is the best album ever written. That's my opinion. I'm not saying no one's right, whoever says whatever album it is that they love most. But to me, that's the best album ever written of all time.
Yeah. Or everybody's right because it's meaningful to them. You could think of it that way.
Yeah. No, this one's for everybody. Better than anybody else's choice. No. But the subject matter, come on. Rasputin,
I know.
Ethereal Travelers.
That's what it's like, digesting stuff like that and like understanding the story and then like thinking about like just how the music flows within that too and just how it all goes together. It's just, I can't just listen. It's like I need to digest it all.
Yeah, and I really love it when there's some significant, I would call it poetry in the whatever the message of the song is, or the words, like meaning, like, I don't know, REM singing about acid rain. They're not just saying, simple things. They're probably saying it in a poetic way, getting the message. U2, I thought, was very unique in their political lyricism.
Yeah. Sunday, like, that's the one that pops in my head. But so it's so complex.
Yes, and then I would even throw in, maybe in a little bit of a different way, I always say that Slayer are great poets, and maybe that's Jeff Hanneman. I believe he wrote most of their stuff. But like, I mean, the imagery. I was an English major, so the poetry stuff and learn about poetry. So I apply that kind of critical eye to some of these lyrics.
Yeah.
Slayer, I'm thinking of War Ensemble. There's a line, confetti of flesh.
See, it's beautiful in its own like disgusting way, but it's poetic. Yeah,
it's violent, but it's like imagery. It's like capturing imagery, and I love that. Certain bands can, when they can do that, being no exception.
So cool. Yeah, for sure. Love that.
But so you mentioned REM and political music. I'm curious what that has meant to you, or how it's impacted or informed your life. This channel, if I could maybe share a quick summary, is supposed to be, and I'm still figuring this out. I don't know. Clarity comes through engagement. One of my favorite quotes ever, and this is me kind of engaging to get more clarity of where this goes, but is radical metal, which is a play on radical middle, meaning, there's always radical left, radical right, but no one's really passionate about the middle.
That's true.
In the middle is kind of where I see maybe dialogue taking place, or I use this phrase, dignity in the discourse, which is just non-existent today, and just feel like there's a real need for it. It is a little bit more challenging to think of a middle when, in my opinion, and you may agree, when the right is so far out there. The middle might be still in psycho land, but
where is that middle now? There's so many. It's very extreme.
So middle is a little bit harder to find, I think. But anyway, and this channel is it's sort of maybe incohesive, but I talk about all the things I want to talk about, which is metal, but politics too. So if the conversation goes there, I'm happy to honor that. But anyway, so just curious how REM may have informed your political outlook?
Yeah, that's such a good question because I do think that they did. I kind of mentioned it earlier, like they would be singing about songs. Like I'm trying to think of a good example of this, and of course I can't think of anything. Not like Losing My Religion, but Fall on Me is the song about acid rain. So while that's not political, it was like, well, what is this song about? They're talking about buying the sky and selling the sky and lifting your arms. I'm like, what is the significance of that? So early age of internet, just like falling down rabbit holes and thinking about that. But what I will say is what comes to mind is when REM won the best video at the Video Music Awards for Losing My Religion. For every like award that they won, Michael Stipe wore a different political shirt. And like they were things, the one that I can remember was about like gun control. And I remember like I was seeing that like after, because that was 91, I'm 39. So I was really young then. But like when I, like later on when I was going back into all that stuff, I remember being like very intrigued and curious and thinking like, what's the reasoning behind that? Or when they played at the Tibetan Freedom Concert. Well, why do we want to free Tibet? What does that mean? So it was more because they were so political. I found myself just like one part digging through to try to understand what they were singing about and allowing that to inform my own beliefs. But it was also just like understanding like, why is this important? Why are they singing about this sort of stuff? And it actually kind of, I don't know if full circle is the right word, but I did get to meet REM in 2004. It was, I think it was around 2004 because I was in college and I graduated in 2006. And I remember so I live in Cincinnati now. At that time, I was going to college in Northwest Ohio, close to my hometown. So I drove 3 hours and back to see REM, which was like the beginning. But anyway, I waited after the show to meet the band, and Michael Stipe was wearing a John Kerry badge, and it said Veterans for John Kerry, and I was like, I don't, are you a veteran? And he was like, no, I'm wearing it for my father. Like he supports John Kerry, and I'm just trying, blah blah blah. Like we don't have to comment on that, but it was kind of like at that point, I was nearing 21. I was going to be able to vote in my first election. So it just kind of like encouraged and inspired me to like learn more about why these people I admire and cared about were, throwing themselves behind these issues. And they're still, even though REM disbanded like, over 10 years ago, individually they are, especially Michael Stipe, still pretty active in like politics and things like that. So I guess like that's a really long-winded say to, I think one part was digging into like what they were singing about, and then just watching them like get very involved through very aspects of their career. And then just, like I know at a 12-year-old, like I certainly have changed some beliefs that I've had since I was 12 years old, but it did really shape who I was. So when I've said before, I think REM made me a better person. Like, I do believe that. Like, I think that they really helped shape and allowed me to be curious and, showed me that music is more than just love. It's like these deep things that they're pouring themselves into and walking the talk. So, yeah.
Well, my brother always calls U2 the moral force of rock and roll.
That's a good way to describe them.
And I'm trying to think, I guess that there, my REM being U2, I guess, probably some similar things. Maybe not as intense. I think I just more like the music, but then later would develop an appreciation for, like what Bono's done in the world and things like that. I can feel people sneering at that because a lot of people make fun of him for, who's big humanitarian, but like, look, what are you doing?
Yeah. What? Like he's doing what's meaningful to him. Like you cannot fault someone for that.
Yeah, big time, especially that. But yet it happens quite often.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, I was quite interested in how, I was in grad school. I actually was in for conflict analysis and resolution. And the thing, I don't know how valuable that experience was, but what I wanted to really dive into and did a little bit was, can music really change things? Can it really, when we say that, it's on a t-shirt and maybe it's lip service, but can it really change things? And I kind of wanted to dive into that.
Hmm.
Then maybe we can a little bit, but like practically, and then I think the conclusions I came to, and maybe I'm still formulating, but certainly, well, in your case, it certainly did, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it changed you politically.
it did. Yeah, and I remained. It made me curious and gave me let me know I could research and understand these things. But I do think it can change things, even just like from like a community perspective. Like that's so meaningful. Like, I don't know if that was a part of like what you were thinking about or not, but that's like the first thing I started to think of.
Well, no, but you just triggered something in a good way. That I preach a lot at work. One thing I learned over the years of my jobs is to share your unique interests with people. For some reason, it blows my mind that I was like this, but I was. Where I would be embarrassed to share that I liked heavy metal music.
That's so funny.
And I don't know why, right? But it was a while ago. But and then I remember going to some seminar or something for work, and there's a guy there saying that, hey, you need to share the unique things that define you, that you identify with, that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
It's like, and it really helps with the networking and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if I did it right then and there, but I just since that point started sharing more about me and my passions and stuff. Metal being a big one, Mastodon being all of that.
Biggest, yeah.
And it is surprising how much benefit that has given me over the years, because you find like allies, especially metal's one thing. You find another metalhead, they're cool, and then you kind of know, and you know that they got your back and you got their back just by and then Mastodon, that bond is even tighter and even quicker fastening.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up, because I swear I was literally having a conversation with our VP this afternoon. I just scheduled just to connect with him. Like the way my company is, it's he's my boss's boss, but like he's cool. And I just hadn't had a meeting with him in a while. He led a town hall the other day and he mentioned beat poetry. And I was like, oh yeah, like Jack Kerouac. And he was talking about William Ginsburg. And like, I brought that back up, and it was like, because he was like, you're the only person that knew them. And then he remembered I went to Asheville. Long story short, we were talking about Mastodon. He didn't realize how involved in the community that I was. And it literally led to a discussion about how, well, he was like, how can we can encourage people to bring themselves to work in that way? And I'm like, I don't know any other way. Like, I'm a metalhead. Like, I love drag. I travel, there's no other way. And then I was like, I immediately went into like corporate speak, where I'm like, well, it's the thing I said earlier. I'm like, it's relationship building. And he's like, no, I'm literally talking about like making it okay to like tell people, that you're like into metal and stuff. And it just went really well, because I think he just appreciated that I was so candid. I'm like, yeah, I'm this whole other person outside of work. I'm the Mastodon Mayhem mother. And like, I'm friends with, Bill and all that stuff. So anyway, it's just funny that you bring that up, because we like had a very similar discussion today. No joke.
Yeah, did it. That's interesting. Did the, it may be a buzz phrase now, but bringing your authentic self to work. I've heard that a lot, which I relate to and think is wonderful that it's a buzzword or buzz phrase. And it just enhances the work experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, one, if you feel comfortable sharing, about yourself, that's got to provide comfort and some. But then also to connect with others who may have some similar interests and passions. Find allies,
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like, even though he did say, he's like, I'll listen to some Mastodon. I'm like, okay, like, let me know what you think. Like, if you need any recommendations, but just go in and see what happened.
Well, even when people make fun of me for it in a friendly and loving way, that's fun too. Because we're still connecting, and then acknowledging me for who I am, and then I'll fight back lovingly.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little love. Yeah.
That's cool. How are you? Tell me this.
Mhm.
Jumping around, but
Yeah, you're good.
well, now we're not jumping around, maybe because we're talking about work. One thing I struggle with is, you know, while I employ all these things that we're talking about at work, and work is actually it's stressful, but it is enjoyable and manageable.
Yeah.
But I do struggle with, like the creative side, and hey, should I just have taken these risks to do the art that I want to do? Is it too late? But is it too risky now? I got a kid. Then I look at Tom Cheshire, who's just like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Jump in, both feet. And that's why another reason I admire him so much. He's just like, I have to.
Mhm. Yeah, he is. He sure is. That's one for sure.
Do you ever struggle with that kind of stuff, or are you happy and satisfied with this, like a career? And
Yeah. That's a really good question. I will say, I like what I do, and I do where I'm at in my life right now. I get to work at home. My job is very flexible. I can. It allows me to do what I want to do, which is travel a lot and see Mastodon, which is like my summer. But sometimes I do think like, man, I know that I was able to like, kind of build this unofficially official community, or like had a hand in that and building that relationship and community. Like, what if I would have just like, I don't know, went in like the music management like direction? Like I think about that. And I also, another side of me is I was a trained singer, and I did a lot of theater growing up. I'm like, what if I just followed that? But like, I think, and it was more just like, no, go the safe route, like managing communications, like get a good job. And so while I'm not like unhappy or unsatisfied, I do think that sometimes, like, what if I would have just like, found out that like I could do this, do something else. And I guess it's not too late, right? Like, who's to stop me? I'm not 40, like, I could do this. So I don't know.
So you're saying me at 47 can't do it, Amanda?
Yeah. No, yeah. Once you're 40, you're done. You're dead. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, well, sounds like we're kind of similar thought processes.
Mm-hmm.
I just sometimes I feel guilty for not taking more of a plunge
Yeah.
into the unknown and risky, and then might justify not doing it because I have a family.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a good reason. But
yeah, I would agree. And you seem happy. You have a wonderful, family, and you're happy at what you do and your work, and you can still do art on the side too, so it's not like it's completely gone. And that's what, like, I was telling my leader in the meeting today. It's like, it's this whole other thing. It takes like a lot of time, but I really enjoy it. Like, running the Mastodon group and helping out in that way. But yeah, sometimes I think like, what if I would have went in a different direction? Where would I be now?
well, I think I've said this to you many times, that you should be the fan club president. But I don't know, do they even have a? Do they have one?
I know they don't have like an official.
Right.
I know they should. I'd do it. Yeah, they don't. I think like Mastodon Mayhem is like as official as it gets. I mean, we get prizes from Bill and the band. Like that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's not officially official.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
But you can answer yes or no.
Okay.
And that's the part we're going to share. And then you don't have to share the second part, and you probably can't.
Okay.
The yes or no question is, do you know any incognito band members that use a different name in the group?
No.
No.
I know. It's not, no. Nope. Everyone who's in the group like is under a real name. And if there is someone that I don't know, but truly, yeah.
Well, and then I know William.
William
Kelleher. Is there a middle initial there?
No, it's just William on his Facebook.
I know he's got Facebook. I think Fred Hines does, not the imposter. That imposter guy's been liking my stuff lately.
I know. The Bill one that got taken down, but the Brent one is still up. I'm like, I don't know. I think because Bill reported the one that it was impersonating him. I don't know. Another thing that I get involved in, I get messages like, is this really Bill? I'm like, I'll just text Bill and be like, is this you? I don't think so, but okay.
Well, was it Dirty B? Well, no, is it B Hines? I can't remember. The imposter.
Yeah, the imposter.
Wild.
Just B Hines. Weird.
I tried to report him, but I think someone else might have gotten to him sooner. But then he popped again.
Yeah.
So
what
weird. What motivates that? I don't get it.
I have no idea. Probably a scam, if I were to guess, but who knows? A lot of effort for a scam.
But does Troy have Facebook? I know Braun is active on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. From what I understand, Troy is not on any social media. But you are correct. Like, Brent does have a Facebook. I'm not friends with him on Facebook. Instagram. Braun's on Instagram, and then Bill has both. But I don't think that Troy's not on anything.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, that's cool that I know you have had to remind us at times, like, hey, they're part of this group. Yeah,
well, there's a lot of like family and people that are close to the band. So Braun's mom is in the group. She pops in a lot because she always introduces herself, which is very cute. But yeah, that's we always try to keep it very respectful. And I think we don't want there to be personal details shared that haven't been, shared by the band or anything. So, and leaks, as you know, from being in the group as long as you have, we're super strict about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta.
And then that reminds me too that we started kind of with is, friends and close people like Kelly Hester.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Kelly. I don't know him. I've never chatted with him. Dude.
Yeah, well, we just kind of became friends organically through the group because he makes his delicious pickles. So if anybody's listening and you want the best pickles in the world, Kelly's Death Pickles. I think it's kellysdeathpickles.com. I don't know. You all know how to use the Googles. Type it in, find it. But we just started, talking, and I bring that up because he actually makes the pickles in the kitchen at Ember City. So that was kind of how we started talking through Mastodon, and then just started talking more about that and just about the band and I got my family hooked on the pickles, blah, blah, blah. He's really good. We've become friends. And then when I was, contemplating coming to Atlanta, he was like, you always have a place to stay with me and I can, show you around because, I'm a native and I know where the Star Bar is. So I'm like, well, heck yeah, I'll take a tour guide. So it was not last weekend, but the weekend before I drove down, namely because I wanted, I got my family and friends hooked on Kelly's Pickles and I wanted to load my car up. So got to spend time with him in person and got to, Bill happened to be in town, and Kelly, just again, shout out because he helped facilitate a lot of the hanging out, showing me the Star Bar, the Earl, Elmer's and all that stuff. And hung out with Tom a little bit again in Atlanta. And then of course, getting to hang out with Bill outside of the band touring. I was jokingly, I'm like, oh, you're heading in your natural habitat here. And I'm not head to toe in Mastodon. Who are we?
That's funny. So did you make any, you're in Ember City, right? So you saw the kitchen where Kelly does all the magic?
I did. I got to see, oh my gosh. Yeah, I got to make pickles a little bit. They supposed me to work.
That as a joke. And there it goes.
I know. I was he's going to ask. I actually did make pickles. So I helped them for an hour. And I got to see around Ember City, got to see where the band like signs their stuff, like all the posters and stuff. In hindsight, I probably should have asked if I could have gotten a new hall for the group, but I was too like, oh my gosh. And got to see their practice room as well, which was like so cool. And then Tom Tapley, their sound engineer at West End Sound, was kind enough to invite me back when he was going to be there. So I got to see, where the band records it, the West End Sound. So yeah, it was really cool. And again, like Kelly helped. I know you asked specifically about Kelly, but he was a big part in helping facilitating a lot of those things. So it was really cool.
Did they go to high school together or just became friends later, or Kelly and Matt's
and Bill?
Yeah.
I am not 100% sure like where that relationship came from, if I'm being honest. So I don't want to misspeak on that. But I don't know if it was like he just happened to like rent the kitchen for the pickles from Ember City. I'm not entirely sure, but
yeah, no worries.
Cool.
What was the, I might have mentioned it already, what was your highlight from that trip?
Well, getting to be in Billy Kay's home studio, that was pretty cool. Got to see the Grammy for Sultan's Curse in person. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a Grammy. You can tell I'm fangirling a little bit again. And just getting to Kelly's Kelly's encouragement to like hold his guitar and like pretend to stage kick and lunge. I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like such a tool. I don't play guitar. And then sitting at Bronze Kit. And of course, getting to play with Bill's dogs. I love animals. So that was cool. So I think just, the fact that I was able to head there and getting to, see where some of the magic happens, where he does those little like videos, like I'm sure you've seen them. Like, I don't know, like the tone packs or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, you were right there. Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool. Did he play any guitar?
Not when I was there. Nah, he was probably like...
Okay, that's Sultan's Curse. Okay.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, come on, play Sleeping Giant. It's my favorite. Come on. Nah. He was off the clock. It was fine.
I have a video of him on my channel. Maybe you've seen it. It was a few years ago. I got a guitar lesson. And I asked him, I said, is it okay if I film this? Because he was playing The Last Baron. The best riff of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That video, typically these videos I'll get, if it's a good one, people are interested, maybe a couple hundred. But that one has like 54,000 views.
Oh my gosh. They love watching the Riff Master.
Yeah, I think it's a huge compliment. I still get comments on it.
Yeah.
Because that riff is so iconic.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, that was cool. And then we went to a show on Saturday night, and Bill was there too. So it was cool getting to, I think one of the great things about the band and the community is just having that friendship with like him, and like, being able to like do stuff like that, like as a fan, but also as a friend too. So it was really cool. Like one part fangirl, one part just spending time with friends. It was cool.
They make it. They're very good. I would say all of them. Maybe Brent, not in the past, but now they're all very good at making you feel comfortable, or they do everything they can to feel comfortable. I mean, they can't control you freaking on your own head.
Yeah.
Every time I've met them, it's a hornet's nest up here.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, you're here. Yeah.
Which is, probably embarrassing to them, but they do really well, and maybe because they've got the practice in now, making fans feel welcome and as if they're friends and part of just a nice big family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. They're just approachable. And I think too, like that, I think I even touched on this when I was talking to Tom a couple of weeks ago, and it's come up in the group before, but I think they're just very cool humans. Like they are good people. And I think like the fans are a reflection of that. Like good attracts good. Like maybe that's a little hippy dippy. I don't know, but it seems to be the case. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that there exists and they have come up, but like no one's been like, I ran into Bill and he was mean to me. Like, like it's always just like very hospitable and kind, and they know what it's like to be fans. So
Funny.
yeah.
They're funny.
Yeah.
Troy with the Aqua Troy photo going like this.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is from.
That was like the best thing. That was almost as funny. Well, it was funnier than when you, okay, this is how long you've been in the group and how long we've been friends. When you impersonated Brent Hines for that impersonation contest. I still remember that. It was so good. You went hard with like the face tattoo and everything.
Oh yeah, then I don't think I won that one, Amanda.
No, I think you did. You won tickets. You won free tickets, didn't you?
I don't know.
Why do I know this? I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I remember who won what contest.
Well, I've definitely won a lot of them, which is just awesome, and probably more than my fair share. And then, I've lost a lot too. It doesn't get easier to lose just because you won.
Yeah. I know. Well, and then you even won like a luck of the draw contest once. I'm like, are you frick? I drew Jesse's name. Yeah. He's won like 3 things, and there's another one. It was so funny. I'm like, I didn't rig it.
I think whoever loves Mastodon the most, just grab those prizes, gravitate towards them.
Yeah, I think that's it. That must be it. Good attracts good, good vibes.
Well, maybe that's a good note to end on this question, which I feel a little redundant because Tom asked the same thing. You guys talked a lot about it actually, but and I know there was just a recent the meme, the Billy Kay meme.
Yeah, the mansplaining meme. Yeah,
mansplaining.
That was me doing the mansplaining. Yeah.
That was a good one. I don't know. I would have entered it, and just life got in the way, I think, and I just didn't get around to it. But someone else should win. Every once in a while. So, is there an idea or thoughts on the next one? And I apologize. I'm totally plagiarizing.
No, it's a good question because I don't have anything in mind, and I think I even said this to Tom. And we have actually, Tom and I have talked about this before. Like, we are facilitators, and not just like facilitating meetings or whatever, but it's like, we might not know how to get something done, but we know who can get something done, but we can do it. So, and I feel like even though I'm like the face of Mastodon Mayhem and I make a lot of the decisions and have connections, a lot of the ideas come from other people. Brandon Wolchuk, if he listens, he actually was the one that was like, we should do a contest and maybe just do a meme contest. And then I remembered oh yeah, someone did this weird, the build mansplaining thing. I'm like, we'll just do that. So anyway, that's a long answer to say I don't know yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to see if we can maybe do tickets again this time around, because Darren Sanders is usually absolutely wonderful about hooking us up with a pair if possible. So we might do maybe, I don't know, something creative or something. So if you have any ideas, Jesse, let me know. Something fun, something amazing. I don't know, something cool.
Myself that I don't have an idea. Typically I would be armed with an idea that I would be good at.
Yeah. Well, think on it. I still need to mail the prizes. I just got some more poster tubes, so we have time. It takes a lot of time to coordinate and mail stuff and all that. So yeah, think on it.
Yeah, the community, they're patient. But yeah, no, if I come up with any ideas and I think they're worthy of your attention. And I did want to shout out too, all the admins are wonderful. They're wonderful people.
All good.
And are just, I hope other people are grateful as I am for their work and your work.
Thank you.
And putting in it is work. It's a labor of love, I'm sure, but it takes time and energy.
It does. And sometimes it's even just conversation about this post seems controversial. Do we risk taking it down? And because we've been accused of censoring people before, or do we let it run and die down? So it's it doesn't happen a lot, but we do talk about those things. And and I know that you've probably seen some weird stuff in the group over the years. I can think of so many weirdo situations where we had to kind of navigate and make really hard decisions. And yeah, it's the internet, right? Weird things happen.
Being accused of censorship as a non-paid admin on Facebook is mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it was something like really, I remember, it's been a while. It was about COVID vaccines, and I don't, maybe you can edit this out. I don't know, but it was about or maybe not, I don't know, but like they were playing at a venue that like required proof of vaccine. So it was like you either do that, it was a proof of vaccine or a test. So it's like you either do that or you don't go to the show. Mm-hmm. And I said that and I turned the comments off. And then I was getting messages like, how dare you? I'm like, oh my God, what do you want?
You didn't make the decision.
I know. I'm like, I do not run this venue in Philadelphia or wherever it was. I'm like, I don't know. Everyone's giving their opinion. You can either do this or don't see the band. Like, it is what it is.
Why is that funny to me? It's funny because it's so ridiculous.
It is, yeah. But that's the stuff that escalates. So, anyway.
Well, thank you for putting up with that and all the admins and for what you do for the group outside of that. I mean, there's a long list.
It's a lot of work, but, you know, it's good. I shouldn't be like, oh, it's like day in and day out. But yeah, you know, it does take a little bit of elbow grease to keep things smoothing. And it's not just me. There's a whole team of them.
Well, we appreciate it. And I appreciate you giving me some time today, Amanda. It's really nice to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And
it's been so fun.
Let's think about, I'll let you know if I can figure out when I'm going to Atlanta. Maybe you can join me.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Or like, I think I've even mentioned to you, because I know you go to a lot of shows in DC. My stepbrother and his wife live like in DC proper, and they've been begging me for a visit. Not begging me, but like, you know, I have a room there. And I know, like, so the next time the band comes, like, you know, I think I'll come through. That maybe that'll be my next.
If they play, there's so many great venues, but especially the Anthem, which is the big one in DC. Mm-hmm. That's a real amazing place to see them. But there's so many other great places, as they are everywhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it would be great to see you. We'll hang out. I know Anna would love to hang out.
Oh, that'd be so fun. I'd love to see Anna too. It'd be great.
Maybe we can get childcare. We'll get earphones for our little Cammy.
Yeah, she can hang too. No. Either way, yeah, it sounds all good.
All right, Amanda. Well, thanks again, and have a great evening.
Thanks, you too, and thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to hang out virtually.
Me too, and I'll send you the video if you want to look it over, and just in case there's anything you want me to take out.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I'm sure it'll be perfect, but appreciate the review ahead of time, so that works.
All right. Hey, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you later. Bye, Jesse.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Bye.